We're back to Chapter 3, Lecture 1, Part 2, and we're going to look at an example of demands. So down here I have a little table. Let's start out with one consumer, Mateo. We'll talk about Hannah in just a minute. And so what we have here is these two columns here represent the demand for Mateo for yogurt, 6-ounce containers. WTP is willingness to pay, and this tells us that if the price is $4.50, Mateo would buy 0 containers of yogurt. That means Mateo is not willing to pay $4.50 for yogurt, which means Mateo does not value yogurt at $4.50. To get Mateo to buy some yogurt, the price has to fall, say, to $4. So $4, now Mateo is going to be buying 2 containers of yogurt. And so we can put that in the graph. At $4.50, we'll put Mateo right there. Mateo is buying 0 apples. I'm sorry, apples. I was talking about apples last lecture. Yogurt. And now if the price is $4, Mateo is going to be buying 2 containers of yogurt. And that would put us just about there. At $3.50, Mateo would buy 4. And that would be just there. And at $3, Mateo would buy 6. Again, all things being equal, ceteris paribus, nothing else changing. At $2.50, Mateo would buy 8. Again, nothing else changes. Mateo's income is the same. Mateo's preference is the same. Price of other products Mateo could buy are the same. And at $2, Mateo would buy 10. And those points represents Mateo's demand. If I get a ruler and I get maybe a colored pencil, line them up. We connect all the points. And that would be Mateo's demand. We'll write demand M for Mateo's demand. And so this line here is the relationship between price and quantity demanded of yogurt for Mateo. And when we move along the demand line, we are changing the quantity demanded. And so on the exam, if I gave you this line here and I tell you the price of yogurt is $4 and I ask you to find Mateo's quantity demanded, how many containers of yogurt he would buy, you go $4 out to his demand, drop a line straight down, and that is the quantity demanded down there. In that case, it would be 2. And if the price falls from $4 to $3.50, all things being equal, Mateo would move from this point to that point along the same demand line, and that would increase the quantity demanded from 2 to 4, which the table said over here. Now notice I'm not saying demand has gone up, I'm saying the quantity demanded has gone up. So when you change the price for a particular consumer, you're changing the quantity demanded, which is the amount that the consumer is buying. You're not changing demand. Demand, you can see here, is not changing. It's still the same line. For demand to change, which we'll do in future lectures, it has to move out to the right or into the left. Right here, demand is not changing. So when I change the price here for Mateo, I'm changing the quantity demanded there, not the demand. Demand is these 2 columns. And I've not changed anything about these 2 columns when I go up and down with different prices. So here we're changing the quantity demanded. Down here, not the demand. So if the price goes down from, say, $4 to $3.50, it's going to cause Mateo's quantity demanded to go up. And if the price goes up, so say we're at $2, Mateo is buying 10 containers of yogurt. If the price next week goes up to $2.50, Mateo is going to be buying less yogurt, 8. And so the quantity demanded would go down from 10 to 8. So one kind of change to know for this is a change in the quantity demanded. And that's what we're looking at right now. Later on, we'll be looking at change in demand. Now the next step is to bring Hannah into the market. And so we're going to go from an individual demand, which is Mateo, and we're going to create a market demand where the market is going to be Mateo and Hannah. And so let's plot in Hannah's numbers. At $4.50, just like Mateo, Hannah's not going to buy any yogurt. And even at $4, Hannah is still not going to buy any yogurt. So Hannah's going to be right there. And for Hannah to buy some yogurt, the price has to fall to $3.50 in this case. So Hannah has a lower willingness to pay for any kind of yogurt. And she would only also buy 1 container at $3.50. And so $3.50, her quantity demanded point would be right there. And then for Hannah to buy a second container, the price has to fall to $3. And then it'd be right there. And for Hannah to buy a third container, price has to fall to $2.50. And so 3 and 250 is right about there. And for Hannah to buy a fourth container, the price now has to be $2, and that'll be right there. So Hannah's demand is going to be different. That's probably true. I mean, most consumers, it's unlikely to have an identical demand for, say, you and I for yogurt. And so let's sketch in Hannah's demand like that. And we'll call demand for Hannah. And Hannah's demand works the same way. If the price changes, we move along Hannah's demand line. And so again, there's no change in demand here. There's simply a change in the quantity demanded. And so at $4, Hannah's quantity demanded is 0. And the price falls to $3.50, all things being equal. Hannah would buy 1 container of yogurt. And if the price falls to $3, she would buy 2. So moving along Hannah's demand line, again, there's no change in demand. There is change in the quantity demanded. And so Hannah's demand is this column right here with her quantity demanded numbers and the prices here. So we have two different demands. We have Mateo's demand, these two columns, and Hannah's demand, which are these two columns. And now we can add it together to get a market demand based on these market quantity demanded numbers down here. And it's pretty simple, just add up the numbers. So at $4.50, Mateo is buying nothing, Hannah's buying nothing, the market's buying nothing. At $4, Mateo is buying 2, Hannah's buying nothing, so the market is 2, all from Mateo. At $3.50, Mateo is buying 4, Hannah now starts to come in and buys, in this case, 1, together they're 5. And at $3, Mateo comes in and buys 6, Hannah now is buying 2, so the market demand has a quantity demanded number of 8. And at $2.50, Mateo's quantity demanded is 8, Hannah's 3. Add them together, you get the quantity demanded for the market, 11. And at $2, the market quantity demanded would be 10 and 4, which is 14. And just come over here, now we can plot these numbers here. And so at $4.50, the market demand starts there, just with Mateo. And then at $4, the market demand's going to have a point there, and that's just Mateo because Hannah's not in the market yet. And now at $3.50, Hannah comes in, and so we have 1 from Hannah, we have 4 from Mateo. That means the market has a number out here. Oops, right there. And now at $3, it's 8. So here's 8. Here's $3, and that'll be about there. And at $2.50, we have 11 for the market, and that'll be about there. And then at $2, we have 14, and that'll be about there. So I'll get a different color. Let's see here. So the market demand will be here, and then it'll pivot out to here. And this will be the market demand. And I'll write out market because I use M for Mateo. This is called, in economic terminology, horizontal summation. And that's what we do. We sum horizontally. So, for example, at $3.50, we summed the 1 from Hannah to the 4 from Mateo, and we got 5. At $3, we sum the 2 from Hannah, and we sum the 6 from Mateo to get the 8 out there. At $2.50, we took the 3 from Hannah, add that to the 8 from Mateo, get the 11 out there. And so the market demand is always going to be further out based on adding up the numbers from the different consumers. If you brought in a third or fourth consumer, just keep doing the same thing. Add their numbers, their quantity demanded numbers in, and the market demand will keep being pushed out with more and more consumers. And we'll stop there, and then we'll pick this up with lecture 2 for chapter 3.